I'd like to call the Wednesday, June 8th, 2022 meeting of the Plymouth Board of Education to order at 7 p.m. We'll stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Item number 2 on the agenda, I'd like to entertain a motion to adopt the agenda as presented. Do I have that motion?
So moved.
By Mr. Shower, seconded by Mr. Foote. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries. Item number 3 on the agenda. I'd like to entertain a motion to approve the minutes of the special meeting of the Plymouth Board of Education retreat of May 11th, 2022. Do I have that motion?
So moved.
By Ms. Lucian. Do I have a second?
Second.
By Mr. Showers. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Ms. Fusco abstains. Motion carries. I'd like to entertain a motion to approve the minutes of the regular meeting of the Plymouth Board of Education of May 11th, 2022. Do I have that motion?
So moved.
By Mr. Foote. Do I have a second on that motion?
Second.
By Mr. Showers. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Ms. Fusco abstains. Motion carries. All right. Item number 4 on the agenda, we have a presentation of Teacher of the Year. And at this time, I'm going to turn it over to Mrs. Pezza, Director of Curriculum and Instruction.
Good evening, everyone. It is my honor to stand before you tonight to present the 2022-23 Teacher of the Year for the Plymouth Public Schools. This year's selection process included input from a wide variety of school community members, including teachers, student teachers, non-certified staff, administrators, and students. Our 7 nominees spanned all 4 buildings, represented pre-K through grade 12, and included a range of both special education and regular education programs. The person who was ultimately selected works as both a classroom teacher and a coach, creating a fun and exciting experience for the students and the school community at Eli Terry. From grade-wide poetry slams to student-faculty basketball games, our new Teacher of the Year strives to engage students in school because he recognizes how important that engagement is in the ultimate success of our students. He spends his free time reading young adult literature so that he can personally recommend new books and pique student interest by talking up the best part of the latest books available. In his classroom, our newly appointed Teacher of the Year works hard to give students choice. The classroom library is bursting at the seams with high-interest books, and he creates opportunities for students to showcase their strengths by allowing them to demonstrate their learning through art, podcasts, infographics, TED Talks, movies, websites, and comics. He is always encouraging students to leave their comfort zone and try something new in the hopes that they will find something they love at the end of the journey. Our candidate also helps build a strong professional community at Eli Terry. He models lessons for new teachers to help them build their instructional skills, and he provides support as they acclimate to the profession. He also collaborates with his colleagues to create professional development aligned to school goals. This year, he and several others presented a workshop on literacy to the staff at Eli that received high reviews across the board and comments like, "This workshop was perfect." His colleagues described him as calm, helpful, always smiling, and constantly supporting students to produce their best work. Our Teacher of the Year is deeply committed to the students at Eli Terry Junior Middle School and an important member of that school community. So it is with great pleasure that I introduce to you Matthew Bossy, the 2022-2023 Plymouth Public Schools Teacher of the Year.
Good evening. Thank you for the introduction and the invitation to be here tonight. It is such an honor to accept this award in a district with so many passionate, deserving, and talented educators. I'd like to thank the individuals who are involved in the selection process and acknowledge the other extraordinary educators who were considered for this award. This award is a testament to the people I've been so fortunate to work closely with over the past several years. My professional community of administrators and fellow educators have encouraged me, challenged me, and inspired me from the moment I joined this community. The people that make up this community are truly special. I'd like to thank my parents who instilled in me the values of compassion, hard work, and humility that I hope my peers and students see demonstrated every day at school. Where most of this is yet to sink in, and it's difficult to find the words to truly express my gratitude, I'd be remiss if I did not acknowledge the incredible children that make up our community. They inspire me every day and motivate me to grow, and I thank all of them for that. I'm incredibly humbled by this recognition and look forward to continuing my work in the Plymouth community. Thank you.
Congratulations, Matt. We'll have a recess in a little bit where we can take pictures. Okay? We like photos.
Can I ask real quick, who's with you today?
Oh,
Maggie?
Ooh, you
I
should.
Maggie.
I noticed he didn't thank you at all. I just want to point out.
I don't think he needs help, Brian, like
I'll
none of
help
us.
you.
Right? It's implied, right? She's here. Right. All right. All right. Some other things, some other recognitions. We have some teachers retiring this year. I'd like to recognize them as well. Candace Kluke, excuse me, 5th grade, Harry S. Fisher Elementary School. Deborah Grossoff, grade 5, Harry S. Fisher Elementary School. Dina Shaffrick, from Harry S. Fisher Elementary School. Bonnie Scapatici, 1st grade, Plymouth Center School. And Jane Rossi, she's an interventionist at Plymouth Center School as well. They are retiring, and I'd like to thank them for their years of service that they spent here in this district.
The combined total of 160 years of service to Plymouth.
Wow.
And we have a small token of appreciation that we'll be delivering to their schools next week. So,
We also have some student representatives that are graduating. So Matthew Elwell and Rebecca Dorsey are graduating this year as well, and will no longer be with us. And we wish them well and thank them for their time that they spent here. Thank you. So with that said, I'd like to entertain a motion to recess at 7:08 p.m. in recognition of Teacher of the Year and the retiring teachers and graduating student representatives. Do I have that motion?
So moved.
Mr. Showers, do I have a second? Mr. Foote, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. We're in recess. I'd like to entertain a motion to resume regular session at 7:18 p.m. Do I have that motion?
So moved.
Greg Showers, do I have a second? And Ms. Fusco, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, motion carries. All right, item number 7 on the agenda, student representatives. Matthew, we'll start with you.
All right. So, as the year came to a close, all sports had a lot of fun, with some more success than others, including the track team. At BL's, a lot of people placed, most notably Nick, who won many medals, as well as Katie, Nick Fusco and Katie DeForest, and they both went to states with Nick Fusco medaling at states and Jake getting the first team All BL for baseball. And then in our AP exams, we have 9 courses at Cherryville High School, and there were 115 students, obviously some double dipping, but it was 115 students in our 9 AP courses.
Excellent. Rebecca?
I have a lot this evening. So first of all, we had our art show put on by Mrs. Ritchie, There were art pieces from Art One, Yukon Drawing, and even a mosaic from her stained glass class, and they were all displayed outside the cafeteria office sort of area. It was all very beautiful. Last night, we had our senior class night. We got catering from J. Timothy's and Sunrise Deli. Senior gifts were these beautiful water bottles. Yearbooks were also handed out. They were very beautiful because we had some great people working on them all year, and everyone had a really good time last night. Then we also had prom on May 13th at the Grand Oak Villa. It was casino themed. That was also a really great time on everyone's part. Everyone looked great. We also had our awards ceremony on June 2nd. Seniors were recognized for their hard work over the years, and underclassmen and also juniors received awards. The senior class trip was May 27th at Holiday Hill. There were activities like kayaking and canoeing. There was a pool, volleyball, basketball, mini golf, tennis, even a bungee trampoline. There was a lot of food as well. We all had fun and met even some new friends from different schools. Scholarship night was May 26th for the seniors. 120 scholarships were awarded for a total of $246,195, including renewable awards. Everyone was very grateful for the financial assistance for their continuing education or whatever else they choose to do in the future. And then graduation will be June 14th at 6 p.m. with a rain date of the 15th. It'll be outside, and we're all very excited but also very nervous to graduate.
Zachary.
So just this Monday, the band and chorus seniors had their senior dinner. There were awards handed out for band members being part of the band for many years, special awards such as like section leader or like best player. We had our band and chorus trip, which was, I believe, about 2 Fridays ago. We went to New Jersey and we went to a music festival, and we took part in a music festival at one of the high schools down in New Jersey. We ended up scoring in the high 90s out of 100, and we earned the rank of superior for both band and chorus. So after we got these beautiful plaques, which were hanging up in the office, but Mr. Keene has them in his room now. After we performed, we took the day and we went to Six Flags Great Adventure, and we all hung out there for the day, and it was a really fun day. It rained a little bit, but it was a fun day once the rain stopped. And just about 2 weeks ago, it was right before the band trip, we had our Spirit Week. It was many themes. There was Dress Like a Teacher, there was Anything But a Backpack. We had a pep rally on Thursday of that week, which was tropical themed, and it was great school participation. Everyone participated well in it. There was a lot of people doing the Spirit Week. I think it was probably one of the best Spirit Weeks that we've had, in my opinion. But the pep rally went well. Everything was great. It really felt like a regular school event, which kind of felt like we haven't had in a while considering COVID. So it was a really good week and a great way to close the school year.
Great. I want to thank all of you for being student representatives this year, and the hard work you do and the reports you bring back to us. It's important for us to hear that, not always from him, but or the teachers, but from the students themselves. So I appreciate that. And as a thank you, you could leave right now if you want. Right? No, honestly, if you want to go, you can. You could stay if you'd like, but don't feel obligated. Right? We know it's a busy time of year and you got a lot going on, and it's nice out. Right? So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Take care. Take a cupcake.
Yeah, take a cupcake.
Or 3.
Yeah.
All right. Item number 8 on the agenda is public comment. Do we have any public comment? It's limited to 3 minutes per speaker. Please state your name and spell your last name and state your address, please, for the record.
Good evening, Randy Picard, 140 Old Waterbury Road in Terryville. I'm here to talk on behalf of the library and Fisher PTA real quick. First off, I want to say congratulations to Mr. Bossi. He's my son's ELA teacher in the 7th grade. Pretty cool to tell my son that when I get home if he hasn't watched it online already. And I can attest to how great of a character that man is. He helped my son on the field trip last Friday calm his nerves down. My son has special needs and he's afraid of heights, and he calmed him down, and my son was up in the trees for 2 solid hours. I was chaperoning on that field trip. It was a great time at the Adventure Park in Bridgeport. So I want to thank him again for that. So with the Fisher PTA, I just want to say this is my last year at the school. I've been there for 7-8 years. First time as the president of the PTA. I was hoping that our retiring teachers were going to be here tonight, but I will go to the school and give them, we're presenting them with a bouquet of flowers for their retirements. All right, so the Terryville Library this summer is having a reading program. It's a chance to learn new things, find great books, and receive prizes. The Read Beyond the Beaten Path program is for children, teens, and adults, and it begins Monday, June 20th. Participants can sign up for their appropriate age level and track their reading by paper log or online form. The summer reading program is just one way to encourage our students to continue reading and learning while school is not in session and to prevent the summer slide. Register your whole family to enjoy free library programs, which include live animal and nature programs, active story times, and STEM activities. If you want any more information, we tell you to go to the library in person at 238 Main Street, or go online to terryvillepl.info.com and you can get all your information there. And congratulations on a successful school year for the board, and hope to see you next year. Thank you.
Thank you, Randy. Any other public comment? All right, seeing none, move on. Item number 9 on the agenda, superintendent's update. At this time, I'll turn the meeting over to Superintendent Mr. Falcone.
Thank you very much. Plymouth Center School was awarded the Phyllis Corsetti Grant from the Public Library for their One School, One Book program. They were awarded about $1,600 for that project, and the project entailed that grant purchasing each teacher a copy of the book, The Tooth Fairy Trap. And then the teachers all read that book to the class. The author came in following that. And then there was a STEM component to the grant where the children, 212 children at Plymouth Center, created tooth fairy traps. And back at the table over there, there are the tooth fairy traps that a number of the kids creatively made with recyclables from home. And so that explains the tooth that Dia asked about. That's in front of you, because believe it or not, the tooth fairy actually came to Plymouth Center one night and delivered those to each tooth fairy trap. And if you open it up, there is a message from the tooth fairy inside. So it was very exciting for the kids. It's a very exciting time at Plymouth Center. And I give all of those teachers so much credit with all the excitement that's going on there. With that, I also would like to take a second to thank Mrs. Wronski. Words can't express the gratitude that our district has to her and for her stepping in to a position at Plymouth Center School when we needed her most. I literally called Phyllis on a Friday, and she was there on Monday. And she bought breakfast for the staff. She knew what to do and how to do it. She's not only an amazing leader, she's an amazing person. And I really can't even put into words how much I appreciate her friendship and her professionalism and what she's done for our district. So I can't give her enough credit for what she's done for us. So I wanted to thank her. I'd also like to thank Dr. Bonnie Downey Jenkins from Eli Terry for the time and effort she put in before, during, and after school with our kids. Bonnie trained the entire 8th grade on hands-only CPR. And then after school, for students that were interested, she trained 12 students to receive their CPR, AED, and first aid certificates. So that's what Bonnie's love and passion is. And to take it to our students was just unbelievable. So I wanted to thank her as well. Going off of what Rebecca said, we did have our scholarship night, our annual scholarship night on the 26th. And we have such a generous community. And I want to thank our local businesses, community members, and organizations. $250,000 in one-time and renewable scholarships for our students. Their support and investment in our students is just unbelievable. So I want to thank them for that. Shifting gears a bit, you're going to hear from Matt and I in our August board meeting about our insurance plan. Right now, we're looking to exit the state partnership insurance plan. We put an RFP together or joined an RFP with 6 other organizations, and we found that the United Healthcare matched our current benefit plan that we have. The bottom line really is cost savings. The state plan is going up 10% next year. If it wasn't for COVID funds, it would be going up 14% next year. United plan is at 6.47% next year, and it's capped at 8% the following year. Next year alone, the savings of making this adjustment in insurance will save our district $200,000. And that's just in the first year. We plan on doing this in September 1st or October 1st, giving the teachers enough time and informing them of the change and the difference in plans. And it's minimal difference, right, Matt?
Yeah, it's minimal difference. In fact, the health plan themselves it's exactly parallel. Where there is a slight difference is when we talk about in network versus out of network. But for Plymouth, they've already done the research for me. For us here, 96.9% of the current doctors being used are carrying over versus 96.6% for Anthem. So actually, our staff are getting additional in network. So United Healthcare was the provider for the state plan 2 years ago. So they're very familiar with it. They know how to execute it. Brian mentioned that there are 6 other entities, just so that you know who those towns are. It's the Oxford Town and Board of Education, the Monroe Town and Board of Education, Trumbull Board of Education, Preston Town and Board of Education, Easton Townside, and Ridgefield Townside. All were on the state plan. And all, like me, made the call to our broker to say, this is ridiculous. What else can we do? The 6.47%, just an idea of what the difference is if you remember when we did the budget, I said I budgeted at 6%. So when it came in at 10.5, it was panic time, right?
You were sweating.
So the deficit that we have to offset is now only $15,000 versus the money that Brian was talking about, the $200,000.
More to come in our August meeting. We'll have more details. We'll have a side-by-side comparison for you and the unions so that they can take a look as well. Okay. Finally, based on the horrific situation that occurred in Texas, I want to assure the board and the parents that we will continue to focus on our number one priority, the safety and well-being of our faculty, staff, and students. Over the summer, we'll focus on purchasing additional resources, and we'll modify the protocols and procedures appropriately to keep our schools safe. And I just want to stress that that is our number one priority and always will be our number one priority because that's our number one investment. That's all I really have for this evening. There's just one more thing. I'd like to thank the board and the community for their support in my first year as a superintendent. It's been an interesting year. It started off very interesting, but we got a lot done. As a board, we accomplished a lot of things this year, and we're moving in an unbelievable direction. And so you should be very proud of the work that you've done throughout the year, and I'm proud to be a part of this team. And I wanted to thank you for your support and the community support. I hope to see everyone at graduation, and I hope everyone has a great, nice, long, relaxing summer. I hope it's a nice, long, relaxing summer for everyone.
Thank you. Item number 10, new business. We have some out-of-state and out-of-country field trips that need approval. The first one is I'd like to entertain a motion to approve an out-of-country field trip to Iceland to provide students in grades 10 through 12 an opportunity to participate in an Iceland tour with an EF tour company. All right, and then we'll talk a little bit more about that. Do I have that motion?
So moved.
By Mr. Shower, so I have a second.
Second.
All right, any discussion? A little bit about it, the group is going to travel to 2 cities in Iceland with an expert tour guide over a span of 7 or 8 days. The students will learn about tectonic plates, geothermal energy. They're going to visit a Viking town and walk on a glacier. This sounds really interesting. The proposed trip will take place either April vacation of 23 or June of 23. The minimum number of students is 6, maximum is 24, without adding another chaperone. All right, the departments involved are special education, art, mathematics, family and consumer science. So there's a little bit about that. Any other further discussion? Comments?
Every opportunity we can provide, I'm good for it every time.
Well, we got to find a way to go on that. All right, so, all right. All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries. All right, the second field trip is I'd like to entertain a motion to approve an out-of-state field trip to Walt Disney World Resort in Orlando, Florida, for the high school band and chorus students in grades 9 through 12. That's going to take place on March 23rd to March 26th of 2023. Do I have that motion?
So
By Ms. Lucian, seconded by Mr. Foote. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion carries. Good. All right. We're gonna go to item number 11.
Well, you,
No, I did miss one. We don't have to do that. It's already in the job description.
I have something under new business.
Sure, go ahead.
I was mowing my lawn today and somebody stopped and asked me about the cafeteria's workers getting a bonus. Is that true or not?
We're gonna talk about that in the finance section.
Okay.
Which brings us to item number 11, board member and committee reports, finance and operations. At this time, I'll turn it over to Mr. Tenza.
Okay. Let me first start with apologizing in my report for the typos that you may or may not have come across. Mr. Showers
they're not
was
numbers.
kind enough to point them out to me.
Yeah.
And I just want to blame Miss Pat because she was pressuring me to get this report in so that I could get it out to you guys. So it's really all her fault,
Stay on.
but it's fine.
You stay on.
Brian already talked about the health insurance portion. The only thing that I wanted to bring up outside of questions regarding the report or anything that I provided to you is relative to the cafeteria price increase that we discussed at the last meeting. After reflecting upon kind of the questions that you asked and your reaction overall about a price increase and how that might affect the community, and obviously paying attention to what's going on with the economy, and then discussing further with Brian and our food service director, we do not feel that it is in the best interest of our families to do a price increase at this time. With inflation at unprecedented high levels, we would just be adding another burden to our families, and this is not the time to do it. We don't know what next year brings, and I would prefer to wait and bring you factual information rather than just try to anticipate. I have heard that the state is allocating $30 million for free meals in 2022 and 2023. And while that sounds like a lot of money, and it is, you have to think they're going to just distribute it out amongst all the towns. So I don't anticipate that that's going to cover the entire school year, but it certainly will help. And then when that runs out, we'll see what it brings to us. So relative to the cafeteria price increase, that's what I just wanted to present to you tonight. Any questions on what I put in the packet as far as reports are so concerned?
No, I am appreciative that that decision was made at that time. That would have been a very tough decision for us to have to make. And not that we wouldn't make tough decisions, but I think the appropriate measures and the right decision was made at this time.
Yes, and Mr. Perugino has
Mr.
a question.
Perugino has a question.
No, I was talking to Mr. Tenza. On the food, the report from the state, I believe, if I read it correctly, is some of these children, this is the only meal they get. And and it didn't shock me because my son went to Maloney, and at the end of the day, at the end of the year, the kids would be crying and stuff. There's nothing to eat in the summer. Well, you know, I mean, we were fortunate here in Plymouth. But the other thing is, and it really struck me, is that the meal that these students get in every school, government by, you know, the government, is the most healthy meal that any kid can get. And that really struck me, and I had to look into it a little bit deeper. And they said, you know, no snacks, no nothing, but everything is very healthy out there. So I'm glad that, you know, we don't have to charge right now. I mean, later on it happens, well, it happens, but it's just amazing. You know, you take a look at it, you sit here and you say, oh, well, you know, I'm gonna go out tonight and have a steak dinner. You know, some kid's not gonna eat for 2 days. Scary.
And, you know, I'd like to add to that, Mr. Pridge, you know, our workers in every cafeteria in the school really, even through COVID, really stepped up and really went above and beyond, even their scope of work.
Oh,
So,
yeah, I understand that.
to make that happen.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Definitely.
Yeah. Anything else, Mr. Pridge? You had a question earlier. Did we answer that for you?
No, I had a question on the cafeteria workers. Yeah, okay, the bonus. They
Yep.
were given a bonus?
Yeah, so Mr. Tenza, you want to comment on that?
Sure. Based on the success of the program this year, and the requirements of the National School Lunch Program, where we're only allowed to carry over so much, we are obligated to reinvest back into the program. We have done that through the purchase of new equipment and tried to do some things for the cafeteria workers for their facilities and so forth. But I had a conversation with Brian and said, listen, we still have some money here. And while buying a piece of equipment is great and we need to do that, should we not also invest in our workers, right? They're our lowest paid employees here in the district. Brian was in agreement. In fact, he says, yeah, let's talk about the bus company too, but they're not really our employees. So it was a good try. So I proposed that we give our cafeteria workers a bonus, which amounts to essentially, for this year, $50 a month for this year. But if you think about it, they've been doing this over the course of 2 years. So it's really $25 a month for, they show up every day. They produce more meals than they ever have. And they've also done it short staffed. We've had a very difficult time being full staffed all year. So at that point, Brian was in agreement. We talked with Walt, and he said, we'll always take care of our people if we can. They need to understand that we can't do this all the time, but this time we can. So he gave me the okay. Right? I mean,
No,
those are
you're
the facts.
absolutely right. So I didn't think anybody.
Well, I have no problem with that. I mean, I understand taking care of the workers. I would have probably ran it through the board first. That's what I would have done. So the board, you know, so I wouldn't get whacked today. I'm cutting my lawn. Somebody stopped in and asked me the question. I don't know. I don't want to look stupid out there because people elected me. I mean, you know, and they'll say to me, you don't know, you're on the board. That's all. I mean, hey, I have no problem with giving anybody a bonus, as you probably well heard earlier. And the thing is that, you know, just bring it out in the open, you know, it's not a one-man show. Let me say that. So if we can bring it out in the open, and I have no problem with it. But thank you for the information. Appreciate it.
Anybody have any other comments for Mr. Tenza on any of the reports that were in the packet?
Just one thing, Walt, that I meant to mention earlier is the front sidewalks.
Yes.
I just heard day before yesterday that has been assigned to a contractor and they will begin work.
We'll talk about that after.
That's my understanding that came from the town.
We'll talk about that.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you. All right. Anybody have anything for Mr. Tenza? Moving along. Public comment. Second public comment. Seeing none, we'll move along to board liaison reports. Mr. Perugino, here he is.
Yes.
Fisher Elementary School.
Yes, I attended the spring concert and the chorus on June 2nd. Art shows also, and of course the book fair. And really impressed. I mean, and I heard the student over here saying about the band. if these kids, they're fifth graders, if they keep on continuing on through middle school into the high school, you're gonna have one tremendous band here, and a chorus. And the place was packed. I know I can't pronounce her last name, but Cindy was there, and they, the place was packed, and I was really glad to see that. I was really glad to see that, and I was really impressed with the artwork. I don't know, I wish Mr. Zabushko was here because he knows more about that than I do. But the artwork and the chorus and the band was really nice. And the band leader there, he just really gets into it. Mr. Keene, he really gets into it with them kids, and I'm really glad to see that. The other thing is, on the June 13th, it'll be the promotion day at 9:30 in the morning, grade 5 promotion. June 14th is a field day, and June 15th is the 5th grade picnic. And I'll get a hold of somebody from the PTA and see if they need any help on them 2 days. The 14th is gonna be like a water fight or something. I don't think I'll do that. But the picnic, with food there, I'll go there. So, and that's about it for there.
All right, thank you, Mr. Perugino. Ms. Candrea Florenciani.
Oh, that's a,
I struggle too. I ask her before every meeting, Mr. Perugino.
Yeah, the kids' art show in the chorus is great. At Plymouth Center, this is my 6th year that I was the PTA president, and by far, this is the year that we did the most amount of things for the school. We purchased shirts for every child that was going on a field trip this year. So every child and every staff member got a shirt that said ETJMS Field Trip 2022 on it. For the 8th graders, they were going to Lake Compounds, and it's cashless there. And going to Lake Compounds is expensive, and our PTA was able to give every student a pre-filled $20 gift card for their field trip. And we were able to give it to any 8th graders that either were out that day or didn't go on the field trip. So every 8th grader got a $20 pre-filled Visa gift card. We help pay for the CPR cards that you had mentioned earlier, that Dr. DJ, she's been doing that for several years. And she's great at getting the kids involved with CPR. We also helped Mrs. Suffrage with getting awards for the testing period. We also, this is our first year, I believe, doing it. The 3 schools, Plymouth Center, Fisher, and ETJMS, have helped donate money to get gifts for the bus drivers and the crossing guards, which they're going to be getting distributed Friday or next week? Friday. So we got gifts for all of them. And it's Mrs. Suffrage's last year at the school. So we had like a nice little goodbye party for her. And we're excited for next year. And all new officers were elected. I'm not the president next year. I'll be the treasurer. So it's nice to have a different position there. But I'll still be there for a few more years. And that's it from the middle school. The Booster Club, they had their meeting canceled, but they did have their sports award, and they do have new officers for next year. And again, please help any of these clubs, any of these PTAs. The only way we're able to give every 8th grader a $20 gift card, give every student and staff member a t-shirt, is through the fundraisers and getting parents to help with that. So it takes a lot of money and a lot of work.
Thank you, Cindy. Job well done. Ms. Colessa.
I was not made aware of any meetings since our last one, so
All right,
I'm thinking they pretty much just wrapped everything up at this point.
perfect. Mr. Perugino.
yes, Kay, Bob Rader is retiring after 26 years as our executive director, and Patrice McCarthy will be taking over. Patrice is the general counsel for the Cape. I worked with Bob on a couple committees, and real nice guy to work with, very intelligent, very dedicated to the school systems here. 26 years is a long time to be down there, and he's done a great job. Also, I've been getting a lot of emails. I don't know if everybody else has been getting them, but there's a lot of workshops that they're bringing up. I haven't seen anything interesting that I'd be interested in anyway, but I'm interested now to see within the next couple of weeks, because of the problems that we had down in Texas, if there's going to be some workshops on school safety or so on. I know when Sandy Hook, we had a lot of meetings on that when that happened here in Connecticut. So I don't know what's going on here right now. So That's it for Cape.
Thank you, Ms. Perugino. Ms. Fusco.
I did not attend the June 2nd meeting because they have their meetings at 4 o'clock when I am still at work. However, I did read through the minutes if you still would like me to report on it.
Sure.
Okay. So they unanimously voted to approve the Head Start program for the prenatal to 5 program for the rest of this school year and for the 2022-2023 school year. And they now will recognize SNAP as a form of public assistance to determine the recipients of who will be eligible for that program. They elected their state officers for the fiscal year 2022-2023. They also approved the executive director evaluations and the contract extensions. Will be a new 3-year agreement from July 1st, 2022 to June 30th, 2025. Their wellness committee and events planning team organized a summer food truck festival, which was very successful for the staff and the people that participated. And their open enrollment for health benefits was held, and they are in the process of revamping their agency committee structure into the smaller communities will now be under one single umbrella called the Cultural Steering Committee. And okay.
All right, thank you. Mr. Showers, anything on the district safety committee?
I do believe the next meeting is going to be in August.
It is, yeah. If I may speak on that as well, we're gonna probably move that up a little bit. I'd like to say the district safety committee, I also sit on that through emergency management. And as Mr. Falcone has previously stated, the safety of our students has always been priority number one. Those meetings have been very involved, very thorough. We have very thorough plans. You know, the whole plan gets okayed through every department head every year and gets sent to the state. Not only do we create those plans, but those plans are also reviewed, which I think is important, right? Times have changed, buildings have changed, children have changed, and with the restructuring of the grade levels in each school, those plans also needed to change. So I want everybody to know, and you're going to hear a lot, in the tragedy in Texas was horrific. I couldn't even imagine. And that was left to a door left propped open and unlocked. I can assure you that's not going to happen in this district. Right? Not going to happen. So some other things that we look at as well, you know, and you're going to hear a lot of people and reactive, and the big thing now, do we put armed guards in school? Do we not put armed guards in school? What do we do? And, you know, I've talked to some legislatures and my opinion, and I'm not against it. What I'm against is we're going to put them in, we're going to be reactive, not this district, but other school districts. We're going to do that, we're going to do this, and next year when we don't have money, we're going to cut them. And there won't be any consistency. So, you know, we have a school resource officer here, very dedicated, very good at what he does. The Plymouth Police Department is very cooperative. That doesn't cost the Board of Education any money. That all comes from the town side. And that's important to know. That doesn't come out of our budget. And I don't think anybody on this board is against having I know that the school resource officers were recently, you know, attacked in the past year or so about trying to get them out of the schools. Yeah, I don't know. This is just my feeling. Like Mr. Perugino said, I'm one person. But my opinion is, as long as I'm sitting here, we're going to have them. And I don't think I'm looking around this table, and I think I know this board well enough that I think everybody's in agreement to that. So
I just, one more comment about the safety. I've gotten a number of phone calls from parents and community members with regard to safety. And the questions are, do you meet? Do they practice? And the answers that I can give are very vague because we do not share all of the information intentionally. So I have taken those calls, I returned those calls, and they're very understanding that we can't, but they're very relieved as well to know that we are prepared for whatever might come our way. So.
You know, so on the committee, you have, you know, the ambulance, the emergency management, the police department, the school, the administrative team. So everybody's involved and everybody comes up with a plan that's going to work fire department is a big part of that as well.
When you're speaking to the legislatures, one of the things that came up, and I've been watching this here and doing a lot, not my research on it, I have nothing to do all day long but look at the computer, but they're talking about just one door, and that is our former president saying just one door to the school. That's crazy, because you know, and I know, you need more than one means of egress. And you know, it's, you get a fire and if one door is blocked, your kids are gonna be stuck in the school.
Yeah,
I saw that in 10-foot high fences and, you know, and taking the teachers and giving the teachers guns. I don't know.
well,
I really
there-
have to think about that.
I think there has to a lot to be looked at, and I
Yeah.
think sometimes people,
Yeah.
even last time when we were looking, you know, the windows are too big and this
Yeah.
and that, and they don't realize the fire side of that.
Exactly.
Right, there's the life safety code that NFPA puts out, right, NFPA 101. And they're not aware of that, and we're not aware of, they're not aware of that, why those things exist.
Yeah.
We do, because we were firemen. Not the average person doesn't know that, why the doors are doubled, how do you calculate how many doors are needed? You know, why they can't be blocked or chalked, you know? So I think some people, I think the country's angry about it, as they should be. And I think people say things in a reactive manner, and we just gotta be cautious and think about it and not do reactive things, but make educated and informed decisions. And I think this district has always done that.
There's a lot of overreaction too. It's, you know, so you're right. We have to be very careful. The thing is, we can't just put it out there what we're doing, because we're not gonna let somebody know, oh yeah, we're gonna have a guard over here, so he's gonna come, this person will come the other way. So, no, that's,
And anything that we do, we need to make sure that it's sustainable.
Yeah.
Right? We don't wanna put a Band-Aid on a problem and have to rip it off in 2 years. We just need to make sure it's sustainable, that's all. All right. Moving along, board comments. Let's start with Mr. Perugino.
well, no, like I said, I was really impressed with the kids over to school there with their artwork and stuff. I really enjoyed that. And I'm glad that we made some headway with the contract for superintendent and the business manager. I think that went very well. Still more work to be done. We will do that. I'm just happy that we're gonna have a graduation. And I know, I saw the emails already about blocking the doors and so on. Being a former safety director and a former fireman, I understand what's going on. And like you said, Mr. Chairman, people don't understand a lot of that stuff because we had to live with it for our lives. So, but yeah, it's great. Congratulations to the teacher of the year. Such a nice young fella, you know? Yeah. So, and he's gonna get married too, so.
Well, I don't know, we'll see after tonight.
Well, we'll see after tonight, maybe not.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm not sure Mr. Falcone helped that situation at all. All right. This is Condria Florenciani. Did I do it right? See, I've been practicing.
You guys can
Candria.
just call me Cindy if it's easier.
All right.
I love this time of the year. I love when the kids are graduating, all the end of the year activities are going on. Just as all the kids are gonna have new teachers, a lot of teachers and staff are being moved next year. I think it's gonna be an exciting end of the year. There's a lot of parties planned, a lot of great. Fisher raised a lot of money this year for field day. We were able to get them an ice cream truck to come. Their 5th grade party is gonna be catered with a lot of entertainment and food, and the PTAs did a great job this year raising a lot of money. So thank you to everyone that helped with all that. And I like this time of year.
The solution.
I just wanted to wish the families and students a nice, happy, safe summer.
Congratulations to our graduating seniors. Happy retirement to our teachers who are retiring. And congratulations to our teacher of the year.
All right. Excellent. Mr. Foot.
Funny you should ask.
Boy.
Is this a history lesson?
The comic strip that I most enjoy in a daily newspaper is Bill Keene's Family Circus. About a week ago, there was a picture of one of their young daughters pulling on her sleeping mother's pillow. "You don't have to wake me up this morning, Mommy. There's no school today." This was just a day or two after that senseless brutality that happened in Texas, and it hit me. Wouldn't all of these parents wish that they could have to wake up their children one more time? Wake up, it's last day of school. Wake up, Santa Claus came last night. Wake up, it's graduation day. Wake up, you're getting married today. Or simply wake up, I love you. As an elected official sworn to protect all the children of my district, I believe I must speak out against what is becoming the American way, the culture of guns. I know that the argument on the part of most other officials is to put the blame on mental health, drugs, family life, social media, etc. This is all true, but it only skirts around the real issue, the easy access to high-powered military-style rifles for the general public. There was an assault weapon ban in place for 10 years until the party that has an iron-fisted control on Congress let it die on the vine in 2004. It's time that the political leaders, local, state, and national, get their heads out of the sand and go after the real problem. High-powered military-style weapons and multi-capacity handguns and the people that manufacture and sell them. They have no place in a civilized society.
Ms. Fusco.
Wow. Can I pass?
Yes.
Right on? Thank you.
No comments.
Ms. Fusco, you all set?
Mhm.
Okay. I have a few things. I do want to remind this board and Mr. Foote, you've been here a long time. And I've always said when I took over as chair, and you're going to probably take offense to this. This is not a place for your own personal political views. So I'm a little disappointed in that. I know you have your views and everybody has their views and everybody has a right to their views. This wasn't the forum for that. All right, so moving along. I'd like to congratulate that teacher, Matthew Bossy, Teacher of the Year, who may be getting married now. Thanks to Mr. Falcone. The administrative team, central office, the teachers, we're hiring good people here. And that's an example. I mean, I don't even know how old he was, but he's a young teacher. And to hear that he's that enthusiastic, he does that many things, and he has that much drive, and his peers, and he has the respect of his peers already, is amazing to me. So I'm very proud of that. And we are moving in a good direction, and we will continue to move in a good direction. All the students graduating, they made it 12 years. So, it's just and I know they don't see it. They see it as an ending, but as we all know, sitting here, it's just a small step to the rest of their lives, right? So I wish them luck. And to the student representatives, we thank them already. All right, that's all I have for board comment. The next regular meeting of the Plymouth Board of Education will be on Wednesday, August 17th, 2022. Which is the third Wednesday of the month at 7 p.m. in the cafeteria at Taylorville High School. Item number 16. I'd like to entertain a motion to enter into an executive session at 8:03 p.m. to discuss the following personnel-related matters, inviting in Mr. Falcone, Superintendent of Schools. Transfer of administrator's position, address the current agreement on the number of assistant principal contractual work days, the athletic director's position, and the high school department leader, a memorandum of understanding. Do I have that motion?
So moved.
By Mr. Showers. Do I have a second on that motion?
Second.
Second by Ms. Lucian. Any discussion on that motion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries. We're in executive session.